Oh, yes. Yes.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 30 of Podcast vs. Player. I'm Cal, and as always, I'm Joe Bearman, who apparently has been just spam clicking our podcasts. It's only Dan.
I wish it was as simple as that, but unfortunately I'm far too busy for such mediocre tasks. And it turns out we've actually got quite a few people downloading the old podcast, so...
Yes, the last episode has, as of today, has reached 789 downloads, which we are very happy about, so thank you very much to everyone who has took the time out of their busy lives to listen to our podcast.
Yes, indeed.
And keep doing it. Do you want some news, Dan?
Yeah, go on, I'll have some bloody news.
Well, the Xbox One has had a price cut of £20 in the UK, so it brings it down to £329. So it's actually undercutting the PlayStation 4, sorry.
20 quid.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that is literally just to say, now we're cheaper. It's only by 20 quid, so you won't even be able to buy a game with the difference, but we're now definitely cheaper than the PlayStation 4, which means we're definitely better.
All this, to me, is just going to bring, like, people go into, like, say, couriers or something to buy a PS4, and an Xbox One, sorry. And then, like, the guy who's there is like, yeah, we've got an Xbox One, £329, but for £20 more,
yeah,
you can just get yourself a more powerful console.
They're not going to say that, though, are they?
Of course they are.
No, I don't think so.
Alright, you go into a Sony store.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Famous for their selling of all Microsoft products.
Exactly. The big quote from the big story is, we are always looking at ways to offer the best value to our customers. Not really.
That's just saying, no, that doesn't make sense. Because they're not offering something better for money. They're offering the same piece of shit for just a little bit cheaper.
But all the people that spent like £500
yeah,
are now looking at
6 months later, and now it's just like 320 quid. Are you kidding me?
Oh, this is the second price drop they've had now.
It won't be the last.
And it won't be the last. Sony haven't had a single price drop on a PS4. But it's £349 for a PlayStation 4. But for like £20 more, you can get a PS4 and 2 games.
Yeah. It's kind of,
so
it makes a lot more sense when
value.
you think about that, yeah.
Yeah, that's much better value. And other console news, the Wii U is currently alternating between outselling the Xbox One and being on par with the Xbox One. That's not that good for Microsoft, really.
Well, considering Nintendo, you sort of get the impression that that's all they're really going for, is to sort of keep up with, you know, the other sort of bigger names out there that are making better machines. If they're keeping up with the worst one, I suppose they're taking it as a win.
I'd take it as a win.
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you? Just say, well, ours is half the price of theirs when they came out. They've already outsold us, you know, even though we had a year's head start. But people enjoy ours more, and we've got more for it.
In all fairness, the Wii U has actually got games,
Exactly.
as opposed to both PS4 and the Xbox One. That's the only reason I bought one, is because the Wii U's got loads of fucking games, and good games at that as well. I mean, how much fun did we have with Donkey Kong?
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't get that on anything else, but there's yet to be anything of massive enjoyment on either next-gen console.
No, not as yet.
Like we got sent the new Naruto game to review, but that's on PS3 and Xbox 360, not next-gen.
Yeah, well, think about it though. Most of the main sort of big titles are all going to be on PS3, Xbox 360 for at least another sort of 6 months to a year or so before they go, right, that's it, we're stopping making, you know, third-party games for older consoles. We're going to stick with the new current gen consoles.
I think Ubisoft are the first ones phasing out last gen with like Assassin's Creed Unity and Far Cry 4 and stuff that will only be on PC and next gen.
Yeah, but I think that's just because they can appreciate that it's going to lose an element of how pretty it's going to look, because you've got to take into account that they're making the same thing for a worse console.
Yeah.
So
It's my biggest problem with, especially at the launch of the Xbox One PS4, is stuff like Assassin's Creed Black Flag. You could get for like £15 to £20 cheaper on last gen for the same game. They're obviously only minor graphical changes.
yeah.
So I'll be happy when I love PS3 and 360, but I'll be happy once they're phased out, because otherwise I've just got a PS4 sat there doing nothing.
Well, a friend of mine has actually gone and bought a second PS4 for his now wife, so that she's got something to do while he's playing whatever. So it's just do you know what it was? Minecraft. That's what he's playing it for. And I was just like, you're kidding me? With the price of 2 PS4s, you've gone and bought a really, really good PC that you could have played a proper version of Minecraft on anyway. So, if you've got money to burn, I suppose go and buy as many PS4s as you want for all your family members.
Why are you friends with these people?
Because he's really pretty.
Oh, there you go. That's one reason, I suppose.
Well, yeah. Plus, we've got this, whole history of friendships in school, but we don't worry about that. It's just
nobody cares about school.
Yeah,
this is console.
Actually, he was actually the first person when I got a PS3. He was the first person who had me on my PlayStation Network. And the first thing he did is when he added me, he sent me a picture of a lady who was attaching herself to a bedpost, shall we say.
Oh, right.
And I was just like, welcome to the internet, everybody. Fuck. Thanks, Dan. Oh, there's his name. There you go.
This is the worst. That's not a story.
It was pretty good.
That was an event that shouldn't have happened.
Well, it did, and I'll have to deal with it.
Oh, just think how worse that's got since Sony released the smart, like the companion app for smartphones and Vita.
Yeah.
Where you could just take a photo and send it in a message to someone.
That's what I think of you. Boom.
Here's a bedpost.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of that filth. We've got plenty of time for that later. Moving on, that's all the console news we have. Because it's been a pretty boring week.
Yeah, it's been fairly quiet.
Yeah. Destiny's out now. Nobody cares anymore.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh, Shadow of Mordor, the surprisingly massively amazing game that nobody cared about.
Well, I've seen it on Steam for weeks, and I've had a look at it, and I just think, it's just another Lord of the Rings game. Not particularly interested. Because the last one I actually properly played was
Lego.
No, not even that. It was the Two Towers, the official Two Towers game. That was years ago.
Yeah, it's nothing like that. It's imagine Assassin's Creed and Batman Arkham City mixed with Lord of the Rings. It's honest to God fucking awesome.
That does sound right.
Massive surprise. It's really good.
I shall add it to the continuing list of fucking things that I need to play.
Yes.
Still need to pay for God's sake.
Sadly, that's the problem.
Yeah.
But now the Xbox One's been cut by £20. You never know.
Oh, well, that's it. I'll nip out and get one. Because I know for that extra £20, they'll pay for the rent or a couple of shopping.
My friend, before we move on, works at a certain... fuck it, it's just saying name, Cash Converters. And he put up on Facebook, he's like, we've just got an Xbox One in at work. The disk drive doesn't work though, and it doesn't read games, but it will read Blu-rays. Right. So if you download all your games, grab yourself a bargain. £279.
What? So you can't even... half the hardware on it doesn't even work.
Yeah.
And it's still nearly £300.
And I'm guessing that's connectless as well.
I bloody well hope so. But fucking... I great play for £300.
For nearly £300 I expect in it. And I expect the game that damaged the disc, the disc drive, to still be in there. Well,
it's like saying we've got a car for sale, but it has no doors, the roof is missing, and the boot doesn't work. But it'll still drive around though. It's not exactly what you want when you're spending that kind of money on something.
No. To be honest, if I had £279 to spend on an Xbox One, I'd just bump up the rest of the fucking money and buy a new one.
Or at least wait a couple of years until it's reduced down to about that price.
Yeah, but which would so give it another 3 months. But but I'd say 100 quid for a broken disc drive game console. 100 quid would be the most I would pay. And I'd hope it came with accessories and shit.
Well, don't forget, sort of digital games and things are generally going to be more expensive for the convenience than buying it off the shelf.
Oh yeah, I mean they have come down in price since PSN and Xbox Live first started, but
true. But
like,
if you wanted to go and buy
like, still like 60 quid.
Exactly, yeah. If you wanted to go and buy like Assassin's Creed or something off Xbox Live, it's still 45 quid. It's definitely going to be more than you're ever going to pay in a shop for it.
Oh yeah.
So it's just not worth it.
Shops compete with each other.
Of course, they've got the option to.
Whereas obviously digital distribution, they're competing with themselves.
Yeah, it's just coming straight from the publishers, and they want to get as
unless
much as possible. Well, of course, and then you're just Lord of all.
Charge what the fuck you want.
Yeah, but it works.
Well, yeah. Anyway, myself and Dan, we've seen the Gotham pilot.
I don't know if it is a pilot.
Oh, it's the first episode.
I think it's the first episode.
Yeah.
Mainly because it's just really well done. And it's not really sort of like a bit dodgy or a bit cheesy, in which the Flash kind of pilot episode was.
I am going to stop you there, Dan.
Oh, go on.
I'm going to have to ask you to take out the cheesy bit, because I disagree.
What, have you actually watched the Flash episode now?
No. How Gotham isn't cheesy. There was a lot of cheesy moments.
No, there's not. Where's the cheese?
I bring your attention to Fish Mooney, who's played by Jada Pinkett Smith.
Will Smith's wife.
Will Smith's wife. Who the quote I've pulled as the top of the cheesy bar is, "Who's this cool glass of milk?" Pure cheese.
Not really. I think it's I think it's a race thing. Cool glass of milk, like an ice cold white man who's a cop.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think that's what they were going for. I don't think so. The entire tone of the entire show doesn't go, "Oh, hello there, little piece of chicken." It's nothing to do with that. I think he's a white cop, quite new but quite cold. Gold glass of milk. There you go. Problem solved.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm sticking with. At no point did I think, "Oh God, that was cringy."
Not cringy. It was just I didn't particularly like that line. I don't think it suited the overall tone. It seemed very forced.
Well, that's one line.
Yeah, I'm not basing the.
Yeah.
If we were rating it, I wouldn't base the overall score on that particular. I just didn't like that line at all.
Yeah, I think that's got an interpretive meaning rather than just being, "Oh, here's a glass of milk that's talking."
I didn't sit there and just be like, "Well, he doesn't look anything like a glass of milk."
Just pausing it. Well, there's no biscuits. There's no tea. What is she on about? I can't see any milk.
She's crazy, this fucking Fish Mooney. Christ.
Yeah, she's got some other TV show script that she's reading from. When she's a waitress or something. Who's this cool glass of milk for?
She's auditioning for a Cravendale advert. It's so cool. The Falcones want their milk back. Moving on though. I don't know how you thought, but I genuinely think Benjamin McKenzie did a really good job as Gordon.
I still think that it's like the whole timeline of it is a bit strange because it's current day. Yeah, everyone's really quite young in it. So obviously, Jim hasn't got his moustache.
Well, it's not current day.
Well, it is though.
It's not like 2014.
It is, of course it is.
It's not.
It is. Like all the cars, everything's set in it's a present day thing.
Pretty sure it's not.
Yeah, I didn't see any evidence that it was sort of like, which is what I was expecting, because like when you see like old Batman episodes, and everything's sort of like in that beautiful kind of stylized 50s, you know, kind of like Bioshock kind of style. You know, everything's got like nice curves, and you know, there's a lot of sort of decoration like round doors and on walls and things like that. There wasn't any of that. It was just sort of normal buildings. They were in a nice car. They were drinking at bars and stuff. You know, there weren't any sort of nice restaurants like there would be in like Mad Men or something, which is like set in the 60s or 50s, whatever it is. There just doesn't seem to be an element of it that being that old. It still seems like it's very this millennium at least.
I've just researched this because I feel we should have done this before we started.
Possibly.
But it says it's shot completely in New York. Gotham is really set in a city out of place and time. The ambience is New York in the 1970s, but characters use computers and carry cell phones. Their clothes could be from the 50s, and the buildings in sweeping shots designed by the Emmy-nominated television director Danny Cannon look more like the edifices from the 1930s or even longer ago. So it's just like a mash.
Yeah, I don't get that impression from it at all.
Because it's a fantasy world, is it? Because obviously Gotham doesn't exist.
Well, no.
But if you look at Donald Logue, who plays I forgot his name, Harvey Bullock. He does dress very like 1950s copper.
True, but he doesn't speak that way.
I think with it being a made-up fictional universe, they can kind of go.
Oh, I agree. They've got free reign with it. It's not as if it was supposed to be set in such a time or place or whatever. And I don't think they've done anything wrong with it at all. It's just that it would be sort of a more future Batman rather than it's Batman as with all the technology that we've got available today. So I think it'd be something, you know, because I mean, like, look at Alfred. You know, Alfred's like 80 when Batman's, Batman.
I wouldn't say 80.
He's fucking old. He's like, you know, the Butler in Tomb Raider 3 old.
60s.
I think he's older than that. He's definitely older than that.
Well, no, because in I know it's a lot different, but in the animated series Batman, there's been many a time, and even in the comics, there's been plenty of times where Bruce Wayne's been injured and Alfred's donned the suit.
What?
So, well, he's an ex-fucking Marine, isn't he? So he can handle himself. So I'm going to push towards late 60s, early 70s at the oldest. And then in Gotham, the TV show, I'd say maybe early 50s.
No, I'd say he's in his 40s, the Alfred, on this. Because he's still... The thing is, though, he's not this sort of well-spoken character like, you know, the sort of the Michael Caine. And even Michael Caine was pushing it.
Get off the bloody roof!
How many times will get your ass off that bloody roof? It's like someone's just taken him from a Guy Ritchie film. You know, and he's covered in guns and stuff.
Sean Pertwee's actual voice, though, isn't it?
I know, yeah, but it's not as if
not
they said, you know, you're still a butler for the richest family in Gotham. You've still got to be, you know, fairly formal. So, I mean, Michael Caine kind of pushed it, you know, and he's a bit sort of cheeky with it. But, you know, look at all of the sort of the previous incarnations of Alfred, and it was always just this very sort of like uptight.
Master Bruce.
Yeah, he was always very professional, I think it was the sort of the American interpretation of what a British butler would be like.
Yeah.
You know, someone who's very upstanding, very posh and very polite. Which is fine, you know, I get that for Alfred, because he's, you know, a proper butler. But this Sean Pertwee version of it, I think he's going to be a lot more hands-on. So he's going to be kicking people's heads in and stuff rather than just making videos and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to that as well. I do want to see what they do with him. Because, you know, it's clear that Bruce and Alfred have got quite a close relationship in this already.
Yeah.
So I want to see him, you know, standing up on his behalf and all that sort of stuff. Alfred, Bruce, they've been introduced. As of a lot of other characters, actually, a lot of names have been dropped.
Before we move on to any other characters, I just want to say that Dave, I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name, but David Mazouz, who played Bruce. David Mazouz.
Yeah.
He did a really good job.
Yeah, absolutely. And I fucking hate child actors.
I'm not a big fan of child actors, but I mean, we all know Bruce's parents get killed. It's in an alley. And everyone knows the fucking story.
Yeah, no one needs to reboot that to a huge extent.
It's like when he was like crying and stuff, it actually got to me a little bit.
Again though, I really like that. It was, you know, him and Alfred's there just like, keep your head up, don't let them see you cry. So
Yeah.
you know, he's sort of moulding you into, it's just like, look, you can't be upset. You've got you're, you know, man of the house now. You've got to maintain this sort of strong
Don't cry,
facade.
Batman.
Yeah, so that's a sort of, he's going to be the kind of the new inspiration for him. You know, he's going to keep him on the straight and narrow, and he's going to keep him protected. So yeah, but I do think that. But again, which is what I was afraid of, he's only in it a couple of times, which is absolutely perfect because he's not going to be in it. Yeah, he's not going to be in it the whole time. It's not about him. So the fact that he was in it and he was in it well and acted well, perfect.
Yeah. I imagine he's going to be in it obviously throughout, but I think a lot of it's going to be Gordon checking in on him.
Yeah, sort of saying this is where we're up to with the killer and blah blah blah. And the killer's going to go and try and attack him, and you know Gordon's going to try and save him and all that sort of stuff.
More than likely that'll be the case. Obviously, we saw quite a few shots of Catwoman. Or the opening scene is purely Catwoman.
Yeah.
And then obviously she pops up now and again throughout.
Or more like it's just steampunk Catgirl at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's. We haven't seen enough of her really to comment on it, but I did like how she's already getting somewhat attached to Bruce.
But at the moment, though, she's got no reason to.
No, she witnessed what happened, and I mean, to be fair, that might even come into play if they decide to wrap up the case, as it were, properly. She might be a pivotal point in that. Because obviously she didn't see the killer because obviously he was masked up, but something might happen down that road.
Yeah. Yeah, she's all right. I like the opening sequence though, when she was just like walking through town, just stealing a load of stuff. That was quite well done, and obviously it showed off that she's still quite acrobatic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they presented it quite nicely. It's just that I don't want there to be some ridiculous love story between her and Bruce.
I don't
when
think
they're like
it'll
12 or something.
Yeah, well, he's 13, but she seems to be a little bit older.
Yeah, definitely.
Might just be that she looks older, but I don't think there'll be anything as toward as that. I think it'll be, I don't know, kind of like just viewing from afar or something.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll have any interaction
through bits and pieces. Yeah.
Yeah, but he won't know that she's helping him or something. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah.
Penguin. I really like the guy who played Penguin.
The bit when he's in the alleyway and he's just like, "Oh, do you want to go?" And he gives him the bat.
Yeah.
And he's just there laughing, just belting this guy with his baseball bat, just like doing this really weird, creepy laugh.
It was very, very weird.
Yeah, it
very
was.
Weird.
Yeah,
but I liked it.
They didn't overplay the fact that he was supposed to be this sort of weird, freaky character. His fingers are all fused and everything. It's just a normal guy with quite a fairly big nose. So
that's about, and obviously he's very, very pale for whatever reason.
He seemed to have like a bit of cold or something there, because like his nose was all red. And then when he's at the end, when he's in the water, sort of swimming away. Yeah, that looked. I really like that actually. When he's just sort of on the bank and there's that fisherman there, and just he just and that's it, and he just runs off.
Eats his fucking sandwich.
Yeah, I thought he was just gonna like tuck into a fish or something. I thought that would have been quite nice, but
no. I like the fact that it was fish related. Actually, he was a fisherman, but I'm glad they drew the line there.
Yeah.
But the guy playing was very good. We actually saw a little bit of the Riddler.
A little bit.
In the form of Edward Nygma, who seems to be some kind of like DNA analyst, or
maybe some sort of forensic scientist in the kind of the same way that the Flash is, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I don't remember Edward Nygma ever working for the police.
Not as far as I can recall.
It may just be a little cheeky way of crowbarring him into it.
Yeah.
Just to sort of say, oh, and he works here as well, but he's telling loads of riddles and everyone thinks he's a dickhead because of it. I thought he was a scientist or something, or some...
I'm pretty sure...
a maths genius or something.
Oh, he worked in a carnival, according to Batman Forever. But
Right. That was...
we were good on that route.
Yeah. Because, I mean, they were dropping a lot in that, and to the point, you know, when they go to, what's his name, Mario Pepper, or whatever his name was, and they go to his house, and then Poison Ivy's there, and it's just like, oh, come on! That's literally like 4 people in like the last 20 minutes you've all crowbarred in there. Edward Nygma, I can get over that. Maybe he could have worked in a police department because he's brilliant, you know, he's a forensic scientist, like the Flash is, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But then, there's Poison Ivy, his little girl, and she's obviously just looking after loads of plants and things. Because Poison Ivy, everyone remember, Poison Ivy, this is Poison Ivy. It's just like, come on, for fuck's sake. You don't need to do them all in the first episode, do you?
See, that's why I liked, in The Dark Knight Returns, I think it's part 2, where, what's her name? What's Robin's name?
Terry something?
No, it's not Terry. Whatever her name is, I can't remember. Her best friend is Pamela, which is actually Poison Ivy. But that was literally just a reference. There was no reference to say she was actually Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
It was just a person called Pamela. That's fine.
That is fine. It's when it's just sort of like people who know this will get it.
Penguin, Catwoman, possibly Joker.
Falcone.
Obviously, the Falcone is going to be in it. That's going to be like the main.
Oh yeah, easily.
Muscle
you can't have like
crimes.
Yeah, you can't have some superhero villain because what the fuck's Jim Gordon going to do?
Well, in an interview, Benjamin McKenzie, like they're talking about like stunts and stuff, and he says, as long as he can get his way, because he does most of his own stunts, says, but I want him to stay away from like doing wire work and stuff, like not because he was afraid of heights or anything, but Gordon's just a man.
Yeah, he can't jump across buildings and things.
No, that's exactly what he says. He says he can't leap over buildings, he can't run up walls, or he's just a man who he can fight, because obviously he was in the army. But when he gets in a fight, he wants to end it as soon as possible, not fucking punch him through a fucking wall or something.
Yeah.
So that's fine, keep him grounded. Get his fucking ass kicked and stuff.
But yeah,
That's
but
fine.
true, but that means that you're still quite limited to just sort of like goons. That's the only people. Like, because if you put in Bane or something, what's he going to do? What could he actually do apart from shoot him in the face?
That exactly.
Yeah, but we've already
Shoot
seen his
him in the
reaction
face.
to killing people. He doesn't like it.
But I'm pretty sure if he had to, he'd shoot Bane in the face.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there was no reason as to why he wouldn't have killed the Penguin. He had him at the end of that thing, and he said, if you don't kill him, they're going to go after you, me, and your girlfriend as well. There's no reason why he couldn't have shot that, because the police never would have investigated it, because it would have been done by, by the orders of Falcone or whoever. And then that's it, But if they find Penguin now, then that's it. They're going to come for him. So, if there's any reason to kill someone, it's definitely for the safety of your own girlfriend or your own partner or whatever. So that would have been a good enough reason to kill. But he refused to do it. He said, I'm not, it would be easier for me just to shoot you through the back of the head here and leave you to die. But I'm not going to do that because I'm better than that. So when it comes to Bane or something, he's still not going to do it.
I just want Batman to come in at tours, like whenever the series, like the TV show itself finishes, and they bring Batman into it.
They will.
And Batman's just like, there's a new villain in town calling himself the Penguin. And Gordon's just like, yeah, about that. I may have possibly had a chance to prevent this from happening.
Yeah, shit, so I should have killed him. Oh, man.
Well, it's the same as Batman though. If the Batman had have just killed the Joker first time round, he wouldn't have killed Robin.
If the Batman was the Punisher, I think he'd have been in work for about a month, and then that's it, he could retire.
It would have been like the Teen Titans Go episode where Robin gets superpowers and just cleans up the city completely.
He fixes all the world's problems in 3 seconds, and that's it.
And they have to get real jobs.
Yeah, that's exactly what it'd be like.
But that's what's going to happen. Penguin's going to come back. Obviously Falcon is going to find out because he's back.
Yeah.
Something's going to erupt from it. But off a first episode, off a pilot, whatever the hell it was, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a very good film.
Much more than I expected to.
It was a similar kind of thing to Arrow, in the fact that I watched it and I thought it might be alright, because I knew that it was just because, you know, Superman, Batman films coming out, so they're just milking it out, you know, as much as they could. But I watched Arrow and I thought, actually, do you know what, this is really good. They've done well with this. And then watch this, exactly the same thought. I thought, wow, they haven't just done it for the sake of doing it, you know, not like churning out like a licensed game or something like that.
Yeah.
They put a lot of thought into this and they're really going to do well with it.
Hopefully, anyway.
Absolutely.
This is actually all first impressions. It could go completely downhill.
Yeah.
But on that note, though, we're going to leave it at that, because we've rambled on for quite a long time, and I don't think we've actually sold it to anyone. But it is genuinely really good.
Yeah, it is good. It's got, on IMDb at the moment, it's got like an 8.5, 7 out of 10, which is, I'd say that's fair. I'd say
for a first episode.
Absolutely.
It's really good.
Yeah.
What's coming up on the channel, Dan?
We are working on more Minecrafty kind of things. We're making a big sort of leap on Minecraft. We've also got some new ships and stuff that we need to have a mess about with on Space Engineers, so we're going to be doing that, as well as returning to DayZ, because they've got new cool things like cattle prods and telescopic batons and stuff, which are dead cool.
So I'm actually quite looking forward to DayZ again. It's been a while since I've looked forward to it.
It has been a while, but there have been updates, and it's definitely worth another sort of mooch back through it, definitely.
We also have more Sims 4 gameplay in our bathroom. Excuse me.
Bathroom.
In his bathroom.
Yeah.
We have some more Pokemon. And we have, coming up on the website, James's opinions from Eurogamer.
Yeah.
Because he's an idiot and forgot to film it.
Yeah.
So it's going to be written, I'm afraid. Sorry
so as long as you can read, you'll be fine.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Otherwise I'm wasting far too much time on the website.
Yeah. Speaking of website though, we've got a new address for it, so it's a lot easier to remember from the bullshit that it was before. So now it's just www.podcastvsplayer.com. Or if you're feeling a bit patriotic, www.podcastvsplayer.co.uk.
It's both.
It's
both of them. Doesn't matter which one you put in. Whatever one you put in will bring you to our doorstep.
Absolutely.
And we'll invite you in. We'll have some biscuits. We'll have a laugh. We'll have a cuddle. Tickle your balls. Whichever, whatever.
That's why people stop going round to your house.
I'm just at the door, just wriggling my fingers, just waiting for people. On that bombshell, though, thanks for listening. Say goodbye, Dan.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, yes. Yes.